Welcome back, guys. Today we're going to be going over the top 10 supplements to help you build muscle faster as well as recover. So I've got my supplements on my table right here. It's mostly just for cosmetic purposes. We're not going to jump into my brands or anything like that. You guys need to do your own research as far as what brand of protein you're going to want to go with and who you're going to want to get your supplements from. You also need to consult with your doctor before taking or making any dietary changes. But without further ado, let's jump right into this with vitamin C. So the benefits of vitamin C is it aids in cell protection and health, promotes healthy skin, blood vessels, bones, and cartilage. Vitamin C also aids in wound healing, cell growth, tissue development, as well as increasing your immune system, protein synthesis, and metabolism. So basically, vitamin C is going to help your cells not only stay healthy, for one, because if you're sick, you're not going to make it to the gym if you're sick. Let's be honest. Even if you do make it to the gym, your workout's going to be half-assed. You're not going to get a productive workout in, and you're not going to be able to recover as well. So not only does it help your immune system and keep you from being sick, it also gives the cells what it needs to be able to generate and also create new cells. Also, it plays a role, as we saw right here, in protein synthesis and metabolism. And that's keen in converting protein, into the muscle building blocks that your body can actually utilize. As we jump into the foods that actually contain vitamin C, most of your citrus fruits, such as your oranges, lemons, etc., your sweet yellow peppers, your strawberries, tomatoes, all contain vitamin C. Now, of course, as I jump through this, I'm just going to list like the main foods for all these vitamins that they are found in. There's traces of them in a lot of the foods, and now we have a lot of reinforced foods with extra vitamins in them. So as we jump on to, is it toxic? It is. Daily value is around 90 milligrams. So you're going to wind up taking more than that in usually in a regular diet. I would not go over 1,800 milligrams. It has a low toxicity. It's not believed to cause serious adverse effects at high intakes. Most commonly, when you do have like a supplement like vitamin C that is not toxic as others, now it's still toxic. It just has a low toxicity. The most common side effects you're going to have is diarrhea, nausea, abdominal cramps, and just a lot of gastrointestinal like disturbances. And that's going to be because you're not able to absorb the vitamin C that's still left in your body, and usually it's going to result in throwing up, having excess bathroom visits, and that's just your body's way of trying to get rid of that excess vitamin C that it can't take in. Moving on to vitamin D3. The benefits of vitamin D3, boosted immune system, helps strengthen your bones, enhance muscle contractions and protein synthesis, plays an essential role in muscle growth and development, and increases testosterone levels. So in one study, there was a 30% increase in testosterone between a placebo group and a group that was actually supplementing vitamin D3. So that's a very big increase. Now I'm going to link all my resources and citations under in the YouTube video. I might put a Google Doc link. That way you can just look at it, and I'll have it organized on where I'm pulling this from as far as which vitamin I'm talking about. So it'll be really easy if you go back and look at these studies. So few foods are naturally rich in vitamin D3. Best sources you're going to get out of food is going to be the fat on fish and fish liver oils. The best source is the sun, and you guys know this. This is common information. The reason that our body can produce vitamin D is because of the UV light. So your liver and kidneys actually create the active form of vitamin D during the process. So going on to toxicity, is it toxic? It is. The daily value is 20 mcgs or 600 to 800 IU, and you're going to get in the toxic range when you hit 100 mcgs or 4,000 IU. Main consequence is going to be high calcium level in your blood. So you're going to have hypo or hypercalcium. So that's going to wind up loss of appetite, nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, constipations. It's this common stuff with, like I said, with the rest of the vitamins when you start getting into the toxic levels. So, of course, if you're ever taking vitamins, you start noticing any of these, loss of appetite, nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, abdominal cramping, pain, immediately stop. I'd probably consult a doctor. So over days or weeks, if you continue at this rate, you'll develop other symptoms like fatigue, pain, headaches, confusion. Your heartbeat may become irregular, and you're going to wind up probably develop kidney stones at that rate. As we continue, we got zinc up next. Benefits immune system, wound healing, thyroid function, also decreases oxidative stress and increases testosterone. So oxidative stress leads to chronic inflammation. So by decreasing that, we're going to also decrease our chances for chronic inflammation and any inflammation in our body. And it's not going to be like all inflammation is going to be gone when you take this. Anytime I state that it does decrease inflammation, it's only a certain amount and a certain percentage, and everybody's going to be different. So as we get on into the presentation, if you are deficient in one of these vitamins and you take it, you may have a lot of benefits and may actually be able to notice a lot of benefits from this. But if in your diet, your levels are already like DV or pretty high, you're not going to have crazy, changes in this. For example, a 2010 study in adults showed those who took 45 mg of zinc per day had greater reductions in inflammatory than placebo group. So that's where we get this. I'm going to link this back. This is where we get the from the oxidative stress, the decrease in oxidative stress, where that inflammation is taking place. Another study that we looked at, it showed a significant decrease in a group of young men whose zinc levels were reduced by dietary restriction. An increase in testosterone was reported because when they had that decrease with zinc, testosterone plummeted. So when zinc was taken out, their testosterone plummeted, and then when zinc was reintroduced, it increased it by a lot. So if you do have a deficiency, like I just said, in zinc, and you do supplement with zinc or add it into your diet via foods, you are going to probably increase your testosterone levels by at least a little bit. So moving on, foods that zinc's found in, you got red meat, shellfish, pumpkin seeds, nuts, and dark chocolate. Is zinc toxic? Yes, it's to the same extent where if you do take too much, you're going to experience nausea, diarrhea, etc. as your body's trying to remove the excess from it. They don't recommend going over 50 mgs, and the daily value is recommended for 8 mgs female and 11 mgs for men. And excessive absorption of zinc can suppress copper and iron absorption as well, so that could lead to further problems or complications. So as we move on, we're going to talk about fish oil and DHA. There's fish oil that doesn't have DHA in it. I recommend getting the fish oil that does have DHA because you do have increased benefits, in my opinion. So we have an increased heart health, anti-inflammatory, aids in muscle recovery, improves brain health, reduces the risk of Alzheimer's. One study I looked at showed a decrease of sudden heart-related death by 5.6%. And a 10-week study I looked at with individuals facing arthritis showed a 28% decrease in swelling of their joints when compared to the placebo group. Another study was on 27 women that were taking 3,000 mgs of DHA daily for a week and had 23% less muscle soreness after doing bicep curls than the placebo group. Similar to that study, there was one on 24 men that supplemented with 260 mgs of DHA and 600 mgs of EPA daily for 8 weeks straight. And they had no decrease in their range of motion after an elbow strengthening exercise. However, the men of the placebo group saw an 18% decrease. So that is pretty significant. And, as a power lifter, you're going to look at this and be like, yes, that is definitely something I probably should be taking. A lot of this stuff, especially looking at fish oil, it's going to aid the joints, and we know that. So it's beneficial for a lot of people, even if you're not doing strenuous lifting. If you're just, for health in general, it's beneficial. And also, it does help with your brain health. I know that. So fish oil is going to be found in fish, obviously. And you're looking at salmon, tuna, and trout being your highest ones that highest percentage foods. So you're just going to go salmon, tuna, then trout. So is it toxic? No, not necessarily, just like the other ones. but I wouldn't recommend ever going over 3,000 mgs. I'd recommend staying in the DV of 250 to 500 mgs per day. In really high dosages, you're going to see high blood sugar, and it can go up to 22% in a spike in really high dosages, which is pretty insane. Going on further, we got magnesium. Benefits of magnesium is enhanced performance, recovery, reduce inflammation, and better quality of sleep. Foundations of most biochemical reactions in your body is from magnesium, and it plays an important role in muscle contraction. One study in, I think 2,500 something women, they associated higher magnesium intake with increased muscle mass and power. So, of course, that will be linked. And in an older study, volleyball players who took 250 milligrams of magnesium per day experienced improvements in jumping and arm movements. And low magnesium intake is linked to increased levels of inflammation, which play a key role in aging and chronic disease. This is also because magnesium regulates several neurotransmitters involved in sleep, such as gamma aminobutyric acid. Sorry if I butchered that. One review in older adults with insomnia found that magnesium supplements lowered the amount of time it took for people to fall asleep by an average of 17 minutes, while another study showed 4,000 adults linked increased intake of mineral to improvements in sleep quality and duration. So yeah, there's a lot of studies I've linked to this, but these were just like the main highlights, and I think it does play a role in sleep, and you can look at that for yourself. And the better sleep you get, the better recovery you're going to have, obviously. Also important to note, 75% of the U.S. population is deficient in magnesium. I'm not saying that every viewer that watches this is deficient, but I'm saying there's a high likelihood that you're not getting as much as you need, especially if you're training strenuously. So foods that do contain magnesium, you're looking at pumpkin seeds, nuts such as almonds, peanuts, cashews, spinach, dark chocolate, avocados, and bananas. Is it toxic? Like I said, I recommend staying around the DV. I don't recommend getting out of the DV, which the DV for magnesium is 350 to 420 milligrams. And if you go over this, in high doses, like I said, your body's going to try to remove it via excretion, whether that's diarrhea, vomiting. And if you continue to maintain any of these supplements or vitamins at a high level, we'll recommend over the DV, you are risking, kidney problems, etc. So, but the risk of ever experiencing magnesium overdose is extremely low, especially if you're a healthy person. Going on to turmeric, I threw this one in kind of last minute, but I do take it almost every day, and it's mostly I take it mostly for the antioxidant and the reduced inflammation, but there's also studies that show reduce in estrogen that circulates throughout your body by taking turmeric, and it also says that because of this, you're going to have an increased level of binding testosterone, and from the reduced inflammation and the antioxidant, you're going to have enhanced performance as well as recovery. So turmeric is a potent antioxidant, and it basically just can neutralize the free radicals in your body, which are harmful. So toxic, same thing. I want to go over 500 mgs personally. I'm pretty sure one of the studies in 2021, I think it was 1,000 mgs that were taken per day. They didn't have any adverse effects. However, I think it was like 1,200 mgs per pound of body weight for 13 weeks did show serious side effects, which that is a lot, and that was in rats. And those rats, had increased liver size, stained fur, stomach ulcers, inflammation, etc., and also developed cancer. But that was an insane amount. So I'm not saying it's not toxic. Of course, you need to do your own research on this, but I would just stay under 500 mgs. Going on to creatine. This is one of the most widely known and utilized. So the benefits of creatine is increases muscle phosphocreatine storage and allows you to produce more ATP, which is energy, and promotes the addition of muscle mass. And you can take it in as little as 5 to 7 days. Studies have shown significant increase in lean body weight. So that is very impressive. The initial rise is mostly caused by water content of your muscles. When you take creatine, it's going to store in your muscles, and from the muscle phosphocreatine storage, draw that water in. That's why you need to take, make sure your water intake's high when you're taking creatine. You're drinking enough, and it's going to swell up those muscles, and it's basically going to allow them to have room to grow. Is best way to dumb it down and explain it. That's what really helped me understand creatine and how it functions. Over the long term, it aids in muscle fiber growth as it signals key biological pathways. So it can overall boost your gym performance. And if you're really trying to put on some size, I definitely recommend getting on creatine. You might experience some bloating from creatine, and that's just going to be from the water retention. One of the study I looked at, 6-week training program, participants who used creatine added 4.4 pounds more muscle mass on average than the control group, which is pretty absurd. Another study I looked at on creatine in vegetarians found a 20 to 50% improvement in some memory and intelligence test scores. And for older individuals, something on creatine for 2 weeks significantly improved memory as well as recall ability. So despite positive findings as far as like the mental effects, I'm pretty sure we're going to need more research, and especially in the younger people, because most of these are from people that don't eat meat, and which that's where creatine is found, is in meat, mostly red meat, and you're elderly. That's mostly where all the studies are coming from. We don't really have a lot on our younger men. Other benefits is it can raise levels of IGF-1, like we just stated, muscle water retention, cell volumization, and increase strength and brain performance. So I don't know. Overall, I think it is not harmful. Now, it can be linked back to some. There's studies bounce back and forth between whether it's harmful or not on the kidneys, but 90% of all the studies I've seen say that it is completely safe, and we can consider that inconclusive until more research is done. So usually in a regular diet that's not vegan and an omnivore diet, you're gonna wind up intaking at least 1 gram a day, maybe 2, and I'm supplementing myself with 5 grams every day, and that helps keep my creatine levels maintained. There's studies in a variety of people, like I just said, from doses but they range from like 4 to 20 grams per day for 10 months to 5 years. And like I said, there's no real major effects that they were able to link back to. Next, we got melatonin or sleep aids. There's other stuff that you can take that do aid in sleep, but mostly I'm trying to get at on this is the quality and quantity of your sleep. You need to sleep. It's very important. Also, it can increase your testosterone levels and HGH levels. So in 2010, a study by the American College of Physicians showed the result between 2 groups. One group slept for 5.5 hours and the other slept for 8.5 hours. And would you believe the group that slept for 8.5 hours had 60% more muscle mass and 55% less fat than the other group that only slept 5.5 hours? That is fucking insane. Another 2015 study showed that a group of young men placed under a sleep restriction of only 5 hours a night showed a 10 to 15% decrease in testosterone. That is also insane. So the increase in testosterone is going to be from the quality. Of course, you got to have quality sleep for, reap any benefits, but you need to be sleeping more. Most, especially college students and people that are working 2 jobs, do not have enough time to sleep. And they wind up pushing sleep to the back burner, wind up getting 4, 5, maybe 6 hours of sleep in, and that is not enough. So the person, especially if you're competing, the person that's sleeping 8.5 hours every day is going to be leaps and bounds ahead of you if you're sleeping 5 hours every night. So higher levels of, the important hormone of testosterone is also what probably, can link back to strength and muscle mass difference. And some studies have found that supplementing with melatonin may increase HGH levels in men. I did not find anything on women, but I did find something on men. One small study in 8 men found that both like 0.5 milligram to 5 milligram doses of melatonin were effective at increasing HGH levels. So I'm sticking 0.2 to 5 milligrams, but some people like taking more than that. I don't think you really need any more than that. Your body produces natural, and as long as you are keeping up with your circadian rhythm, your body's going to be producing it around the time you need to be going to bed anyway. So keep good sleep hygiene, try to turn off everything at least 30 minutes before bed, and try to be in bed at least an hour before you want to go to sleep. So I think 30 plus milligrams is a little absurd, and I saw some studies, but they're inconclusive, so I'm not really going to dive into those on the dangers of taking more melatonin. It's not going to kill you, so to say, but it's not good to take more than 30 milligrams. Now on to honorable mentions. You're almost done, so if you stuck along this far, you obviously care about your body and your health. And I'm proud of you for trying to do everything you can to maximize your health and performance. So let's continue. Collagen. We got 4 different types of collagen. You got type 1, type 2, type 3, and type 4. Type 1 is most common, found in all connective tissue. Type 2, found in joints and vertebral disc. Type 3, the main component of reticular fibers. And type 4, component of kidneys, inner ear, eyelids. So looking at the benefits, you're going to reduce inflammation, strengthen bones, tendons, ligaments, and joints, and increase in muscle mass. So public study, 27 older men with the condition took 15 grams of collagen while participating in an exercise program, and compared to men who exercised but didn't take collagen, they gained significantly more muscle mass and strength. This was a study I saw on some men that were basically placed in a training regimen based on a condition they all had. There was significantly more muscle mass and strength. They didn't specify how much. So I don't really know. It's kind of hit or miss on whether collagen is that much of a game changer. So like I said, I think everything else, this is why it's in the honorable mentions. Now we are going to talk about one major one of honorable mentions, but I don't think collagen is that big of a deal. But I did want to mention it. The reason it's not a really effective method, especially compared to whey protein, is because you're lacking a lot of the amino acids, and the collagen protein is just too low in branched chain amino acids, so it's not going to play a major role in muscle building. So as we continue here, I put DV, but it's usually going to be like 20 to 40 grams if you're taking this, is how much you're going to have. You overtake or overindulge in collagen, it can throw off the balance of your amino acids in your body, and it's going to lead to more headaches and fatigue, and then as well as digestive issues and all the other complications that we discussed earlier. So BCAAs, benefits: support muscle metabolism and growth, prevent muscle wasting, reduce muscle soreness, and increase recovery. So participants reported up to 15% less fatigue in those given BCAAs during exercise compared to those who were given placebo, and they also wound up going 70% longer. So they had 50% less fatigue and lasted 70% longer, which is a relatively decent amount, especially looking at a intense workout. So participants that were given BCAA supplements rated their muscle soreness, and they rated it 33% lower than those that were given placebo. And another key feature about this is when they came back, so when they came back the next day or 2 days later, they actually performed up to 20% better when they were taking BCAAs than the placebo group that was not. So that is pretty substantial. So I think that BCAAs are definitely important. I put DV, but you're going to be around like 12 to 20 grams of BCAAs that you're taking, depending on what brand you get, whatever you pick up. And over 35 grams, you're going to wind up looking at complications. And the reason this is similar to collagen. You're going to mess up your amino acid levels, and lysine, I think that's how we pronounce it, Leucine, C-I-N-E. That's going to wind up being what throws it off. That's what's dangerous about taking too much BCAAs. So I do recommend staying in between 12 to 20 grams. Now we got nitric oxide. Foods we have for this is dark leafy greens such as spinach, beets, and most pre-workouts now have nitric oxide of some form or fashion in them. Benefits is increased cardiac health, enhanced performance, and improved healing and recovery. And the reason that is also, let me go back here. And the reason this is because nitric oxide is going to basically beets as well. Beets are known for their benefits in the heart, and that's because of the increased oxidation in the blood, because you're getting more blood flow. Also helps by getting a good pump in. So all this is going to really help your performance as well as your recovery. Now, when you take your pre-workouts, you're going to have a lot of caffeine in them, and you need to kind of cut off caffeine after 400 mgs a day, but you can push it to 1,200. After that, you're going to probably want to develop an insomnia from caffeine, nausea, experience abnormal or increased heart rate, headaches, anxiety, jitteriness, restlessness. You know what the side effects of caffeine are. Nitric oxide, you're probably not going to go over 5 grams, depending on what the company is that you're getting yours from, and that's because of pulmonary complications that could arise from that. Now we have protein, and this is one of the major ones. If your protein levels are too low, you're not going to be building as much muscle as you could be. So obviously, benefits increases recovery, muscle growth, and a reduced appetite. The more protein you eat, the less hungry you're going to feel, the less likely you are going to snack. So if you are cutting, you're more into bodybuilding, this is going to really help you as far as not picking up that snack that's laying on the table, or picking up something out of the vending machine, at your office job. I recommend 0.8 grams to 1 gram per pound of body weight. And, on the lower end, I'd say 0.5 grams per pound. I think 0.8 is a sweet spot. Now, if you're cutting and you need to retain as much muscle as you can, I definitely recommend getting it up there, at least a gram per pound. So you're not going to really experience any toxicity with this, but supplement, not a replacement. Real food is superior. Protein supplement's great and all, but you do not need to be using it as your only source of protein. You need to be eating protein, as far as meat, other dairy, other forms of foods that carry protein. So if you overindulge in the supplement aspect of protein, you're mostly just going to wind up having bloating and digestive issues, nothing really major. But as most things in life, there can be too much of a good thing, and if you eat too much protein, you could be at a higher risk of developing kidney stones. So that is kind of a concern for people that have protein shakes almost every day. I am one of those people, so I will let you know when I get a kidney stone. So, without further ado, I appreciate you guys for stopping by, listening to this video. Obviously, the people that wanted to listen and wanted this information were going to sit through, listen to everything, and probably do their own research. So, if you listen to this and have any questions on any of the supplements I went over, feel free to comment them down below. I'll answer them best as I can. I'm going to provide all the links and resources for everything and all the information I provided in this video. I really appreciate you guys. You guys mean a lot to me, and it means a lot that you guys are willing to engage with my content and stick around and be interested in the same stuff I'm interested in. So, as always, stay style strong, and I'll see you in the next one.